Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, what time of day were you listening to my live stream today? Well, I have some good times and bad times. Well, it was a great Easter service. Say Christ has risen today. Yes, he did. Uh, yeah, about in year 001, actually. Yep, think of that one. Going back. I'm not around the time, but I guess it was something to think about. Well, things are going beautiful for me, and I couldn't ask for anything better. Well, living here in Hamilton, getting to be a bit on the chaotic side, chaos, chaos here. Number one, that you got homeless people in the street. And today, I seen some smoking weed. I was a friend of me. I went over a friend to the security office, told the security guard. And when I told the security guard, they went out and they literally just, cracked down. I don't know what they did anyway. So that's great to know. Hmm. When somebody's doing a crack, but and even that, even me, it was so strong. I got a little buzz off it. I couldn't believe it, but I did. I was trying to hold my breath, but and plug my nose, so I can't get the smell. But it was just like it burns your back, irritates back your throat, bad, and just kind of smell you can't really, you don't want to smell it, but it's there, and you can. Oh, what a that was. Hmm. Yeah, enough. It gave me a little bit of buzz, not much really, but I don't want to get into it because that stuff will melt your brains down. It liquidates your brains into a gooey, messy liquid. Your face caves in, and everything goes wrong with your life. And not even that, but your money goes. Your money it drains your money, brings your bank account fast. I'm too old to do. I not even want to go that route. Not for me. Well, with me, I good news. I got some funding. I got somebody that I talked to a person about today. I just got funding for Women's Retreat. Thank goodness from one of my YouTube sponsors out there. Thank goodness for that. I can't say who. I'm not going to mention it, but I did get some sponsorship. I needed that too on BIC on it. Anyway, so that's good to know. And know what else too is? Hmm. There's something else I can think about. No, that is. Well, I'm thinking about myself now. This year, I'm thinking I'm going to take the Chromebook of mine I used recently. What I'm going to have to do, if, depending on the Wi-Fi, depending if the signal's any good up there, like the Wi-Fi signal, depending on the speed of it, I might be able to crank out a live stream somewhere. If I do any live stream, I'm gonna have to do it out of the dining room or in the little side room or couches in the dining hall there. But yeah, I will crank one out anyway. So hopefully that thing go great up there. I would really enjoy a trip up, and maybe somebody else coming up, Martha coming up this year too. I hope Martha enjoys it too. Anyway, it is very good. I know what to bring and what to expect when I get there. I mean, I'll have to fill her in soon on this. We got to bring a pillow. I got it when I got to last year. Got my pillow. Oh my God, I had to borrow one from somebody. This year I'm gonna remember. Oh boy. Well, that is great for me to know. Yeah, yeah. I know Mark. I think Mark can bring in seats. I guess single bed seats, maybe. Yeah, maybe that. I don't know, but I'm thinking of that too. Yeah. Anyways, well, anyways, that's enough said about that. Yeah. Well, I'm going to explain to Martha that the Soleil's got two. I explained to her in a text later tonight about the Soleil's. Actually, Soleil's up there who got the beechwood, which is nice, and he got the other one, the cedar rest. Both are nice Soleil's. I wouldn't mind either one of those actually because they both are nice. Oh yeah, they're both nice Soleil's. And I think to myself how beautiful some things are and how not some things are. But anyways, matter what, depending on what we get this year, hope we get the cedar rest over the beechwood. The beechwood is nice. I like it, but yeah, it seemed to be like about the same. But both are nice, Sully, and I don't know how often I could say it, but they both are wonderful. you know, and they're great. I think things are just going to be wonderful, Camp Cockwall this year. I can hardly wait to get there and see and have a good time. And I hope to have a beautiful campfire tonight at night. Hope it's clear and sunny. Last year was miserable, wet, and rainy. I don't want to go there. I miserable, wet, rainy too. Well, I'm asking God upstairs here. That asking God that weekend of a social women's retreat, I pray that bright, sunny sunshine with good, warm temperatures. Not like no carbon copy last year. Please don't give me God copy last year, God. I remember rain the whole time. Last day, the whole final day, it was sunny out. How stupid, how dumb is that? I remember years ago when I used to go on camping trips with dad and mom in a car going back in the early 60s, early 70s. I just remember one thing. I remember every time we got in the car and started doing a trip somewhere, either going to a U.S. or Cedar up there, every day we went, it poured rain. I mean, couldn't believe it. I remember one night, I remember one time, and I always said, I think the clouds would say, oh, Jackson's fan going on a camping trip. Let make it rain whole time. And it does seem that way. I always think that, and I still think that about that last year, about that memory back to me, really. Hopefully this pattern changes. Hope one cloud don't say not make it rain on Siri. Just yeah. Anyways, hopefully not. I'm looking forward to having a good time this year. Maybe explore a little more of that, Hiawatha Trail, and look get that wandering up to the rock cliff and get some laundry done too on Saturday afternoon. And all that. Well, anyway, so enough said about that. I want to think, oh, what good stuff, good times being there, enjoying the intoxicating beauty of the place. Yeah, I got beauty. I'm beauty intoxicated. Like your boy like be intoxicated in beauty of wilderness country. Anyway, I'm talking one thing. You say no. Well, it can be nice. I can hardly wait. I'm glad somebody's in the circ group is sponsoring me now, registered. Well, anyway, so I just hopefully things go okay for me, but it's gonna be good to get there, but I don't know what else to say here in this life. Well, maybe Easter come, but you know what? I had Popeye sicken after I finished after I left school, went to Popeye, got sick, and Margaret left. But oh my God, can't believe it. And also, I don't like using bathrooms in City Park. They go in there, somebody's doing a crack pipe. Oh, make me sick. Make me sick to think of that. Honestly, half these homeless people, and the worst part about I see it's happened to some of the homeless in Hamilton. Not that. Two things. Number one, crime, criminal. Take advantage of them big time. You know what they do? I heard a criminal, a couple of cartel members took advantage of somebody homeless in Hamilton. Said this to him: "Hey, here's a plane ticket, $1,000. Get cleaned up. Take this plane down to British Columbia, and I want to meet this person. He's gonna set you up with a bag and that to take back. I left my bag at the airport." And he got, oh, I see a briefcase of money on it. He took the bribe. He went there, and unfortunately, in British Columbia, this is something I know can happen in British Columbia. Know that is? Two things. You got El Dorado Airport that have a very tough narcotic. Their job is to stop the drugs from leaving the country and arrest those who carry it. And this and the fine and jail time is 9 times worse than doing time in our pen. If you went into one of those Columbia penitentiaries in British Columbia, you will. There's only one way out if you make it through your sentence. Number one, if you make it through your sentence and get released, you're out. But the only other way out is a body bag. And then you got no. When once this guy done a completed sentence of 4 months, he got out, and about 6 months later, out of the pen in Columbia, he had no money to get back home to Canada, no means of travel. He wanted to get back, and he's trying to, and something else happened. Well, the only way he could get back is being deported by British country of Columbia Immigration Department and deport him to Canada, but he can't. Not while he did this. He managed to get himself deported back from Central America. How? He went and got a job someplace for working illegally under the table as a legal immigrant. Columbia Immigration found out about it, and they moved in and they arrested him, took him in custody, and put him on a plane back to Canada, basically. But actually flew him right to Mount Hope. Immigration, Canadian got him and let him in Canada. He back in Hamilton, but he told me I would never do it again. But he was all that time done. Now he got public housing and housed. He properly housed now and don't have to worry about this ever again. But homeless people taking advantage of by organized crime syndicate take advantage of them because they know that these guys don't have any way to anything. They got nothing. They got nothing to lose. Open door for taking advantage of. See, that's an open door for criminals. That's an open door for crooks to take advantage of them. Organized criminals, like organized mob, to take advantage of homeless people. And I've seen it too. I seen it quite a few times now where they take advantage of them. And they think they're getting all kind of money out, but what to get out of time in jail? See, wow, and that's something. Well, they've been dumper buses in Hamilton. There were a case where the bank took a whole bunch of people. What TD did, what TD cop car, they have their own private little motor coach. They took them all the way up to nowhere, to McMeadowan, dumped him off and see McMeadowan. They're done a town up there, and they know what they did. And the town people up there, they have a freaking problem on hand that the bank dumped on them, and the town decided they would bank with TD up in Thunder Bay, Ontario. You know what they did? They took their TD account, went to Royal Bank instead of that because of what happened. And they had to get all these people accommodated. They managed to find, matter of fact, out of them all, they found have a couple of cottages there that were in tax arrears up there. So they're able to house them that way by using some cottages and a couple homes in the tax arrears, but didn't need a lot of repairs. So they housed and fixed them up and housed them in there. House quite a few buildings under tax arrears and around the vicinity. And you know what? Some of them actually have. Some of them got when they got housed. They didn't do drugs. Got into productive. Got very productive citizens. Actually, town population grew by 75%. 75 homeless people ended up, Hamilton ended up, getting housed, and the population grew, and in the part of the town, some of them got work, some of them worked in public works in the town. Got so small, they never always had hiring issue with public works in Netherwan, with doing garbage and pickups and doing cleanups and doing sanitary work on city sewers, municipal systems there. This what happened. He got hired. They hired all of them to do that work, and they do it very well. Very productive citizens in town now. Anyway, thank God that they're able to handle it. They said they literally found out. They actually told TD and Jackson Smith, Redderwan Town Council, a couple of people from the town visited TD and Jackson told them, do not ever dump any homeless people in our town again. We had a house problem. It cost us. We luckily got in house. We got rid of tax real property. Thank you, but otherwise, don't do it again. They told TD that, and they told TD Bank and went to TD Tower and told them in Toronto about it. And they said they're not doing it anymore. Thank goodness. But then again, they decided to go further than that. They drove them to Thunder Bay, dumped them off in Thunder Bay. And they done the receipt right before Juno. The whole loads of 10 buses for homeless. I drove all the way north, drove all the way to Winnipeg, dumped them in Winnipeg. And there's another load of people, load them on. They actually got a hold of CP rail. And you know what they did? They load them onto the two passenger cars. Got what they did, they got CP rail range or CP rail, TD did, to get passenger cars into the GO station downtown. These were Coleman cars, old ones that they had sitting in storage for many years. Old Pullman cars. You know what they did? Well, load them all up in there and it's at two Brinks cars, off a couple on the trains. And they made sure they get off and buy them box lunches on the way. And they took them all the way up through CP, all the way north, all the way up to Cochrane. The CP rail locomotive, from there, then the Ontario Northland locomotive backed up, hooked up to them, took them all the way to Moosonee. They got off in Moosonee, dumped a whole pile of homeless and rail cars in Moosonee just for Juno. Now the Indian reservation Cree reserves are feeling bad about too, and they don't want. They told TD what the bank in Moosonee. They got royal now. Don't want. They told TD to cancel location ticket. All the owners are stuck up there now. Don't know what to do. And the Cree most of the Cree families there took a lot of them in, basically, and gave them they're teaching how to live on the land, how to hunt and survive, basically. Anyway, switches and bitter and being on the street. Well, anyway, so that's interesting to think that a bank, like a big major bank, swoop that low to do it. That is not right. You know what I'm thinking too is? Honestly, I'm really up here thinking my head. Yeah, plus the police were Juno Awards, another thing. It's wonderful. We had that Juno Award. Great performance. But what I know, the price gouging. And I didn't buy maybe 3 or 4 items in the grocery store. It came to $100 because they put this is weird. Why are you coming up that high when I almost $200 during the Juno, and I'm spending money, and it was ridiculous for a few items. I look at this myself. This is ridiculous. I'm spending all this money for a few groceries. I couldn't believe it. And it was a lot of fucking money I was spending, a lot of effing money I was spending there. So I'll use that retract that word. A lot of my aiss spent already. Well, then all of a sudden after Juno, the same amount of groceries I paid almost 100 for only cost me $20. So what did that tell me? When I looked at receipt during Juno, what it is, they are taking HST, GST, and they are doing what is called the and another tax called a TCS tax called a TCS on it. We're talking about called a tourist tax on top of it. So I was paying a tourist tax on top of the sales tax. Wow, what do you think of that? So that's not good. And they were doing it all over the city at that time. And the worst thing I saw downtown once, and this was awful too. During the Juno, there was a restaurant. They were doing hamburgers. I think it was Toby's in Jackson Square. They had a Juno burger special, and they listed regular price of regular price at $75, $120 with fries. Juno special regular price $75, regular price $500. So then they said 75 was a discounted price, or wasn't a discount or upsell big time. They sold a lot and made tons of. They made a killing off this. And not only that, but Subway there turned around. They put a special on there called the special. They called it a special Juno sub special for about $32 Juno sub, but with what's the cold cut trio, basically. Well, anyway, talk about ripping tour. That were ripping people off. People got ripped off there too, big time. And I heard inside Coliseum that the money for price tags were over $100 on everything, $200-$300 each. Food, $200, this and that. It's like basically what it is that Juno they had a tax bracket. We're catering to Wall Street. What they did is businesses decided we're going to make all kind of money, and which is that did. But now everything gone back down to normal. The tourist tax gone. Bang. What do you think of that? That is price gouging. Basically, you call it highway robbery. Plain and simple. Well, enough said about that. I'm going to have to get off the air, but this is unfair to anybody. Tomorrow, I will not doing a radio show tomorrow, for I don't need to listen. To no sense in tuning in, but following week, I will do a peacemaker and get it out playing some religious music on the air, like we lift the name on high. I say Easter service, I might thought was wonderful, very beautiful. I'm going to say he had risen today. Jesus Christ rose in the grave and I'm blessing everything, everywhere. Amen. Have a wonderful, productive night or a productive week. Remember, don't drink and drive. Take a taxi, public transit, and be safe. Don't you go to heaven before your time. So, don't drink and drive, or you may end up there before you're supposed to be there. Blog over.